Hello there. I'm Jed Richardson. And yeah, here to talk about Trigon. So Trigon is copper in Namibia and in copper exploration in Morocco. Picture here is, I'm a mine engineer, so these are the pictures I like. This is a blast in our pit. We started mining just in October. Right now we're stockpiling ore, and we'll be commissioning the plant next month in December. Okay, the story of Trigon right now is near-term production. So we have that. We're commissioning our mill next month, but it's still very much an exploration story. We'll have our initial production, but we see a lot of potential beyond that, and not just in replacing production, but hopefully finding enough copper to make the current mine irrelevant. And then, of course, I think as all of us have come to understand, the world is in need of a lot more copper. So we're doing all of this with copper behind us in a rising copper price environment. Skip through some of that. We have about 80 million of Canadian dollars market capitalization. We've got $5 million worth of debt, but that is a working capital facility that we just put in place with our off-taker, IXM. And we have about $8 million worth of cash, and that's the capital that we need as we lead up to our first revenue, which should be in January of this year. The company is really split between Namibia and Morocco. The main asset is Kombat. Kombat is in the northern part of Namibia, on the Namibian copper belt. We own 80%. We have our local partner, Havana Investments, actually here, and the state mining entity, Ipengelo, as a 10% owner. Our second project, Silver Hill in Morocco, I'll get into. Production is, production, like I said, is starting next month. It will grow over the next 3 years. So we will start off producing about 9 million pounds of copper next year, growing to 20 million pounds as we start underground mining in 2023, and reaching over 30 million pounds by 2024. At that point, we're starting off with 1,100 tons per day, growing to 2,000 tons per day, but more importantly, our head grade goes from 1.2% to almost 2.5% by year 3. This is not the right presentation. Our mine in Namibia is a restart of a mine that was built by Gold Fields but it's operated for over 45 years. The mine produced 12 million tons of ore at 2.6% copper. We still have a resource now of 14 million tons at about 2% copper. We'll start off mining open pit at 1%, and then we'll get underground, and our underground grade is 2.7%. But there's a lot of potential for this asset to grow. We have about 35 kilometers of strike length that we control to the east and the west of the Kombat Mine. So the Kombat Mine is that green area in the center, with copper showings along the entire area. We just acquired this ground in February of this year, and as we generate cash flow from this mine, we'll be using that cash flow and reinvesting it to do the exploration on this whole belt. And we heard that the world needs 13 Escondidas over the next 15 years. I don't believe we'll build another Escondida, but hopefully we'll end up with a very substantial copper mine. So the 30 million pounds that we're looking to produce by 2024, we hope to have enough resources that we can plan an operation that's much larger than that by that time. We are also exploring in Morocco. Morocco is a country that really hasn't received a lot of attention exploration-wise. Geologically, it's more related to Spain and Portugal than it is to anything in Africa. But it is which makes it a highly prospective area for base metals. We identified a property, we call it Silver Hill because there was mining there over 600 years ago for silver, but it's a copper project. We've consistently drilled intercepts of 10 to 14 meters of a percent copper with 30 to 110 grams per ton of silver. But towards the end of our program, we realized about a kilometer and a half away from the area where we had been drilling, there had been some disturbed ground. We put a trench through that area, and we got 13 meters at 2.7% copper, 34.5 grams per ton silver, and 82 grams per ton cobalt. Interesting collection of metals, very, very valuable grades. But what was really profound there is we could see that this is a hydrothermal system that looks to continue for over 14 kilometers. So what we have here again is the potential for a very substantial, maybe company-making type copper deposit. And this is exploration that we can fund from our own cash flow, given the production that we're now starting in Namibia. I spent most of my career as a research analyst, despite being a mine engineer, and I think what we're building here is a good recipe for a junior mining investment vehicle. Like I said, we have about $80 million of market cap. We have potentially $40 million of revenue coming next year, growing to over $120 million of revenue in 2024. We've got two, I think, powerful growth assets, both in Namibia and in Morocco, and we're doing so with copper behind us, with copper prices at new highs now, but a lot of potential for that to increase. One of the things that gets us excited is that we are developing what I believe will be beachheads in two very, very good mining jurisdictions in Africa, particularly for copper. Namibia has a long history. Morocco, I think, because of its phosphate, it's ignored its potential in the base metals. But we're in there working now, and I think either will be a fantastic growth story on copper resource development, or a target for larger companies that are looking to be in those jurisdictions. Right, I'll end there. Thanks.